A question that we get a lot is, will OKR work in my organization? To answer that question in this video, we'll have a look at a few company characteristics, such as your organization's maturity or your industry. But before we do that, let's have a look again at the essence of OKR. A company has ambitions, which represent where it wants to be in the future. But it also has to deal with the present-day reality. To connect these two worlds, you need goals and you need people working on these goals. And that is exactly where OKR comes into play. From that perspective, you could basically say that OKR will work in every ambitious company. But is that really true? If you browse the internet, you might get the impression that OKR is only used by tech companies in the US. The reason for that is that OKR originated in Silicon Valley. It was first used by Intel and later popularized by Google, which are both located over there. Nowadays, however, OKR is used by companies across all industries and over the entire world. If you look at our customer base, for instance, we have customers in North America, we have customers in South America, in Africa and Europe, but also in Asia and quite some customers in New Zealand and Australia, for instance. These organizations across all industries and located all over the world use OKR for mostly the same reasons. However, you might find that dependent on the country that you're located in, and therefore dependent on the culture that is dominant in your organization, that implementing OKR is easy or a bit more difficult. Implementing OKR can, for instance, be easier if your company's culture is already very much used to transparency, because OKR brings more transparency to your organization. Working with OKRs would also be easier if your organization's culture is already used to setting very ambitious goals. You would feel already comfortable with the stretch goals that OKRs prescribe, even if that means that you would only get to 40 or 50% of your targets from time to time. Differences come into play when we look at size and maturity. Small companies, and then I'm talking about team sizes of 15 or maybe 25 people, not necessarily need OKRs to increase transparency within the organization. It's very likely that they already have a good understanding of what's going on and how they contribute. However, they still benefit from taking a step back from time to time and think about what their goals for the upcoming timeframe should be, and more importantly, how to measure success on these goals. Larger organizations, and then I'm talking about sizes from 200, 500 or maybe even 5,000 people, they really benefit from things like increased transparency and showing people how they fit into the bigger picture. If we look at maturity, then you'll find that companies that are younger than 5 years mostly use OKR as a framework for growth. They use OKR to keep everybody laser focused on growing and scaling the company, but also to find the strength of the team and stretch their capabilities. Older organizations, and then I'm talking about organizations that are at least 10 years old, they mostly use OKRs as a framework for innovation. They need to keep or find their innovative edge again. But also they can decide to adopt OKR for growth reasons. If you're unsure whether OKR will fit your organization, feel free to reach out to us via team@perdoo.com.